CrossFit tried to destroy you.
Oh yeah, they tried real hard.
They suspended you for a year for some not so awesome stuff. But there seems to be this theme of continually getting knocked down, and why do you keep getting back up to fight these things, these battles?
I just think that any publicity is good publicity.
Welcome to Barbell Shrugged. I'm Mike Bledsoe here with Doug Larson. We got Anders Varner co-hosting. Again, you're going to get used to this guy.
It's going to be awesome.
I think so. Yeah. And we're here at Physical Culture here in Encinitas. I almost forgot where we live.
Leucadia, man. Leucadia, California.
That's right. And we have Mr. Ryan Fischer for the show today. And we brought him on because I keep hearing just crazy stories about your life. And I want to hear, and I hear a story, and I go, is that the same guy? Oh, is that the same guy? So we really just want to explore your life story today, which I think everyone's going to enjoy thoroughly. Before we go any further, I want to talk about our sponsors, the first being Organifi, a really great supplement company. Greens juice, red juice, protein powders, all plant-based, really easy to digest, and especially if you're somewhere where you're not getting a lot of organic produce.
I had one last night.
Way to go.
With the green juice?
Yeah, the green juice.
Oh, yeah.
The green juice is rad.
I started the day with the green juice, and I finished with the gold. Do you do the gold?
I don't have the gold.
I don't have the gold yet.
Shit.
I find myself, I look at my cabinet, and I'm always like, green juice, red juice.
Yeah.
I always go to the red juice.
You know what I like about
Red
the
juice
green
is my favorite.
one? You feel better, one, but what are the options when you want one of those green drinks? You either got to go to the Whole Foods and they're just shoving cucumbers down the thing, and
they
then
try to put apples
real
in
juice.
it.
Yeah, like the real things. You got to go to the store and all that.
$10 juice.
Yeah, or if you do it in your own house, you just spent like $50 in vegetables and got an 8-ounce drink.
Mm. I've had people ask, is there anything cheaper? I'm like, no. You want to hike? I mean, you can buy cheaper, but you're gonna get something pretty shitty.
It's gonna be funky.
Yeah, don't do it. Get the Organifi. Do it right the first time. You'll thank me later. You can try the other stuff, but compare and see. Our other sponsor being Thrive Market, which is super healthy food, grocery shopping online. Again, same situation. If you're in a part of the country or a part of the world where you're not getting great food, that's a really good spot to go.
How many hours a day do you spend in Whole Foods?
I would say it's a third of the day.
Yeah.
Third of the day.
Imagine
every day.
I mean, I'm working a little bit. Mainly just making sure everybody else finished their food, so I walk around quite a bit.
Yeah.
Or if you're just super fucking busy and you just don't have time to go to the grocery store, but you still want to make sure you're getting high quality produce, like having an online option is just nicer than having to spend an hour or two going to the grocery store 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah. We just, and we made our own mayo for a while, and then we found mayonnaise that's actually good. Yeah. And other pantry items for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, let's dive into this. Where do we start? Like, I've heard all sorts. Should I even mention? What do you want? What are the highlights?
I've actually known Anders for quite a while, so I think I'll let him kind of pick where he wants me to start.
I have personally wanted to sit down and discuss your life and the progression that I've seen you go through. I was lucky enough to meet you in 2010. I got an email from someone looking for a job at a CrossFit gym, and the resume literally read like U.S. bobsled team, helicopter pilot, kinesiology major. Like the list went on and on. I was like, I don't have $100 an hour to pay you, dude. Like, why are you applying to my gym? And walked this monster, and I found out
I just wanted to work out.
What athletics look like. And from the beginning, we just kind of had this super hustle and grind together. And where you've went from the day we met until today, I've watched you grow, and it's been a really awesome progression. And I think that a lot of people need to learn about how hard it is to grind every day and learn the process of gym ownership, what it takes to be a professional. And the story goes beyond the 7 regional appearances, and it gets into a bigger situation of the way you view life, and I think a lot of people need to know that.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention is you went from at one point being homeless to now owning a gym and being very successful.
Yeah, the gym
as a business owner. Yeah. So you've traveled the spectrum, and I think a lot of gym owners have been homeless at one point. You might be able to give
you guys slept in the
they
gym?
feel homeless at least.
You guys slept in the gym too, right?
Oh yeah,
we used to live at the gym.
We lived in the gym for a while.
Yeah,
a year and a
the
half.
one we owned. Yeah.
Well, my situation was a little bit different. I actually didn't have money to stay in a place anywhere. So
you were really homeless.
The gym that Anders owned at the time, there was a girl in there, and she offered me her couch, and I didn't know her at all. But she just, out of the kindness of her heart was like, everyone really likes this kid. I feel like I should keep him around a little bit longer. And I was like, I don't know if I could do it. So I kind of put it on the back burner, and I didn't really accept it. And then when it was real and I was actually going to go home, I was like, you know what, let's just do it, and I'll see what happens.
What do you mean by go home?
I live in I grew up in New Jersey, so it'd be a long drive home for sure.
So it was a decision where I had to crash on this person's couch, or I had to go back to New Jersey.
Yeah, and to go back to New Jersey was like to go back to school and try to figure out a different life plan. And for me, I didn't know what my life plan was, but I did know that I wasn't done exploring that option. And I knew that all I cared about was working out at the time, but I knew that I cared about more than that, and I cared about people, and I cared about my relationships with other people. And no one could really magnify how important it is to have great relationships with people and great interactions with people than Anders here, your guys' co-host. He was just everything he did, just it taught me everything that I have now. And I don't know how much he really, I don't know how much you really know that, but I feel like it changed my life watching him coach. Just the energy that he put into a class. I was telling him earlier as we were getting coffee, he was bleeding inside. He just everything that was left was out there. Every time he coached, you could hear him from across the gym. You could tell he was really, really passionate about it. And I knew that if I ever had a chance to do something like that, especially because I didn't have a job at the time, and I was actually coaching classes before that, I quit my job because I hated it. The person who owned the gym, they took away some of the privileges I had of making workouts, and they're making their own workouts, and I didn't agree with it. And we basically just got to a point where we couldn't really look at each other, and I was like, I have to go. But it shouldn't be a big deal. I should be able to get a job pretty easily. I have a good resume, and I've been doing this for a while, and I'm good at what I do. But then every door I knocked on, every gym I went to, they were just we only hire from within. We don't know you, and this and that. And it just lasted a little bit too long, and it lasted a lot longer than I wanted it to.
What year is this?
2010.
Yeah.
2010. Okay.
So
there was no money in CrossFit.
Yeah, there was.
That's what I'm saying. I remember 2010.
Yeah.
Even social media wasn't a thing yet. Instagram was happening, but nobody was really on it. It was hey, do you have an Instagram account? You're I don't know. I just thought about it. And now it's massive. It's everything. So once the couch thing happened, I just literally was working out more than I had ever worked out in my life because I just wanted to go to a competition and prove to everybody that I was as good as all of these guys. I remember watching Rich Froning and some of these other guys post these scores, and I'd be like, well, hey, Anders, I just fucking did that.
Yeah.
And I did it with no shoes on. I only had one pair of shoes that I loved, and I didn't ever work out in them. So everywhere you'd see me, I was homeless, but I looked good, my shoes were fresh, everything looked good.
Can't wear them out.
I had Lululemon shorts that I wore 4 days a week. Actually, Anders and I would talk about how many times you could wear them before you had to wash them.
Well, and then if you tear a hole in them, you just take them back and then replace them.
He had the ability to wash them. I just didn't let him know that 4 times is good. And but anyway. I think a really good part of this story was, so now I'm on the couch, right? Everything is down in the life. So this competition comes out. It's called the OC Throwdown. There's all these online qualifiers, and everybody doing the qualifiers has been in the CrossFit Games. They're all bad as fuck. So I do the workouts. I wound up getting second. As I beat all these dudes, right? And it was really cool. The way that the guy who running it, the competition, every time I would do well, he would post a video of it because no one had ever heard of me before. And here's this guy, I got no shoes on, and I'm doing all these workouts, and I'm completely unheard of. And it just starts creating this hype, and everybody on Facebook is I maxed out my friends on Facebook. I wish I had Instagram at the time because I'd probably be so much bigger now. But I didn't care to ever have one. But from there, I remember like doing really well in the competition, and then I didn't sign up for the competition because it was $150. And at the time, I only have $200. And at the time, I'm going to Whole Foods, and I'm not paying for my food. I'm just grabbing it, and I'm sitting down, and I'm eating it. And fucking talk to me and tell me I didn't pay for it if you want to, because I didn't have money to pay for it. And I had $200, and I had to make that shit stretch as long as I could. I think I stayed with Aaron for like 4 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for $200 for 4 months.
What?
And like I just like stretched it and like made it work.
You didn't try to make any more money? It was like this $200.
Dude, I fucking tried. I literally like.
You went to every gym in town to find something.
I would try everything I could. Like because of my resume, I actually got an internship opportunity in Notre Dame and Stanford to do football, strength conditioning with no pay.
Yeah.
But
Gotcha.
I would ask them like, can I have housing? Can I have like a food allowance? Can I have anything? And it was just like all no. So I just wound up getting to the point where it was just really, really depressing. Even Anders was like, dude, I'd let you like sweep the floors, but I just don't want to see you do that. So like, I don't know, just got to that point where it was really bad. And so the $150 to sign up was like not going to happen. So the guy throwing the competition calls me up and he's like, hey, you should do the competition. Everybody's like hyped and wants you to go. And I'm like, well, I don't have any money. And he's like, well, how about I give you like, it's $75. We'll go half off. And I'm like, well, you don't understand. Like, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you this, but I literally don't have a place to live or anything. Like I really have nothing. Like the no shoes on in the video is not a joke. So, so he's like, all right, you know what? Just come. If you win, pay me back. I'm like, cool. So now we'll go back just a little bit because before that happened, I'm working out one day and this guy walks by and he's like, I'd love to talk to you about potentially being a male dancer for this gay club. And I'm like, well, I have no money, so
that sounds lucrative.
I'm fucking in. Let's do this.
Yes.
So like a couple days after that, I go and I have to like go to this studio. And when I show up, that same guy is a girl. He's a drag queen. And he's just super weird. But like I see money in the future, so I'm in. So he makes me do this exotic dance, and like I have absolutely no rhythm. You know, like I mean it's embarrassing. Like if I try to dance right, you don't. Never mind. So he shows me how to do all these moves and everything, and there's a point where like I have to like sit on his lap and do some weird fucking thing, you know, and it's
perfect.
It's just super degrading. Like I literally felt like there's nothing left right now. Like I've hit. Like if there is rock bottom, I broke that shit and fucking landed in the middle of the earth, and then now we agree that my next show is gonna be next week, and this is gonna be my first time. So now we go fast forward. That moment happens. I get the free billet into the OC Throwdown. I go to the OC Throwdown. I get second place at the OC Throwdown, and everyone in the world gets to see me work out. And everyone freaks out and likes me, and like it's cool, and I get sponsored by Progenics and like a clothing brand, and I get a job with Ronnie Teasdale in LA, and like all these things happened, and just it was just meant to be that way. Unfortunately, I was not meant to be the male stripper.
Wait, did you just do one night and get?
So I never actually had to go because it would have been the next week.
Okay.
But then all that happened, and it didn't.
But you did have a private session
with a drag queen. That did happen.
Yes.
There was one night in which the whole world saw it, in which we celebrated New Year's Eve, and the dance was so fresh that at least 75 people in the club found out that you and they saw the moves.
Yeah, I actually had to do the entire. Oh, I actually went to Shore Club and I did it in Shore Club.
Yeah.
I was really, really drunk and we all went to the bar, and I just kept doing it, and all these girls, they loved it. You know,
were you getting tips at least?
I actually think I did make a little bit of money.
I bet you didn't pay for drinks. I mean, you were on your game.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
That went viral on Facebook, by the way. That video. It was.
There you
all
go.
you hear in the background is Anders, and all he says is, "I can't unsee that." I'll never forget that moment. Because you watch me do it, and you can't see him, and you just hear him say, "Oh my God, I can't unsee that."
We're gonna find that video.
Oh my God, it's so good.
OC Throwdown.
OC Throwdown. So
Check for show notes.
That's what really what got everything going was the OC Throwdown. And then from there, I moved to LA and I started like working out there. And I remember just never going out and doing anything, like never like spending money on anything. And I think I was there for 1 year. In 1 year's time, I had saved up $60,000 of beyond like living expenses. I remember my first chance personal training. I was like, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm going to personal train, and like I know that I'm worth money, you know, so I'm going to look at somebody in the eye and I'm going to tell them that it's $100 an hour for training. And I'm just going to fucking hold my own and just see what they say. And I remember the first person who was like, you know, how much is it an hour? And I was like, it's $100 an hour. I only want to see you like 3 days a week, like minimum, or I can't take you on. And the guy's like, okay. And I remember he left and I went in the bathroom and I literally like almost started crying. And I was like, it was like that moment where you just like freak out. Like you just asked like the hottest girl in the world out and she said yes. So I'm like freaking out and I'm like, oh my God. And then that happened and I got like more people and I coached fucking every freaking class that was even imaginable. So I coached everything. I like did all these classes. I did all these privates and I saved my money and I moved to Newport Beach eventually and coached at a gym out here. And then while I was coaching there, I had met other clients that I was training. And then the client that kind of changed my life was this guy, Aaron, and he had a big piece in MySpace. And he had sold his portion of MySpace for like $50 million or something. But he looks like a super normal guy, drives F-150. It's like very average clothing, like very average, you know,
Never
talk.
suspect.
Never suspect.
That's an interesting thing. Having been in the coaching space, in-person coaching space for a long time, you never know who you're coaching.
No.
And I don't know how many times I've heard stories from coaches who, you know, they've coached 1,000 people, but that one person shows up that changes their life in some way.
And that's what I try to tell all of my trainers. I was telling Anders this earlier as well, is like when you guys coach, like I know that it's not your gym, like you're not making a lot of money per class. Maybe you don't have training clients yet or whatever, but every single person that walks in that door, this is like probably the best part of their day. And you are like what is making that hour the best part of their day. And every single thing that you do like resonates with them and it means something. And like, I want you to coach every single class as if it is the last class you're ever going to coach. And I want you to coach it as if you own this gym. And I want you to coach it with every single thing that you have, because someone in that class is going to respect the fact that you're that passionate, and like something is going to happen to you at some point. Like if you shower and you smell good and you look good, you're eventually going to get a girlfriend. If you
give it time.
Give it time, right? Like
you gotta believe.
If you work out, if you work really fucking hard and you show people that you're passionate and you show people that you're not, you know, like you're not like wasting the hour, someone's gonna eventually say, "Hey, I have something for you," or, you know, I have this connection that someone needs this or whatever. And
right.
I try to tell all of them that this is just a stepping stone into whatever else could happen into your life, and how you approach this is up to you. I don't necessarily want you to open your own gym and put me out of business or whatever, but if that happens, that's my fault. So, like in retrospect of it, right? Like if you open a better gym than mine, then fuck, then I fucked up. So, and I just want you to be the best person that you can, and I tell everybody that when they come in the door. So, I also think that it's important for every single person to be treated the same. Whether they go down and their first squat looks like that, or they go down and it looks great, like you treat them with, you know, the utmost respect. That you tell them that, you know, they're gonna have a great time here and this and that, and that happened. And I wound up having a gym, and from that gym, I had met other people who were personal training clients. And I try not to say no to anybody. Like if someone wants to train, like let's do it. I'll figure out how to make it work. Like, yeah, maybe for 2 or 3 years, I'm going to work so much that I literally don't even know what day it is when I wake up. So what? Like in 10 years, I'm probably going to wake up and be like, I don't have anything to do today because I have enough money. I already made enough money where it doesn't fucking matter anymore, which is fine too. Like, I mean, everybody has their own like life ambitions and like what you want to do later on in life. But I would love to work enough now where I don't have to work as much later. And I think that I'm on that path, and it's because am just like super, super passionate about every single thing that I do. Like I'm so passionate about this fucking show right now that like, I wish I could fucking do jumping jacks and talk at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't look like you want nothing to do.
Yeah, like I want everyone. I want to be inside everybody right now.
That's going to be pulled for Instagram later.
Yeah, it's an Instagram post.
That's the beginning of the show.
Exactly. One thing that's is not just the one thing that's just not it's not just the business side. You kind of got your chops through this CrossFit world.
I was a good athlete at some point.
And you
forgot about that.
You did compete at regionals 7 times, and you probably will make regionals next year just because you're going to show up and do 5 workouts at 90% and just go hang out for the day. But that isn't even the story. CrossFit tried to destroy you.
Oh yeah, they tried real hard.
They suspended you for a year for some not so awesome stuff. But there seems to be this theme of continually getting knocked down, and why do you keep getting back up to fight these things, these battles?
I just think that any publicity is good publicity. You know, like
I love your style, man. This is so good.
I'd rather be Johnny McEnroe than fucking who's the guy who wins everything now?
Federer.
Fuck Federer. I can't remember anything Federer did that made me like want to fucking jerk off to it. Like Johnny McEnroe though, like he fucking went ape shit. You know, he's memorable. I'll wear that motherfucker's t-shirt all day long, and my girlfriend will wear his t-shirt to bed as well.
So what are some of these controversial things that have happened? I mean, you've been banned from competing.
So I think it's important before I go into what I did to understand what I did or why I did it, right? So I trained all day, every day for as long as I could remember, and I lived in the pain cave, and the only thing I cared about was going to the CrossFit Games. I didn't care if I won or not. I wanted to go, and I wanted to show that I could be there, and I wanted to do a week's worth of shit that really is not very smart. You know, so when your whole life is that, and you turn down clients, or you turn down opportunities, or you're turning down all of these different things. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even do a recreational hike with somebody if I didn't think it was going to make me a fitter person for this workout, right? Like, I'm letting go. Like, my life is definitely on hold. And when you're doing deadlifts at 315 and the workout's 4 minutes long and some guy keeps telling you no rep and you're doing it totally fucking right, and the guy next to you is doing something completely ridiculous, like not even bending his knees. So if you don't bend your knees, you have to be bouncing the weight, right? Or you have to be doing something incorrect. I'm just going really fast. I have a 600-pound deadlift. I'm 5'5". My arms hit my knees and the weight's just fucking too light, you know? So
True story. You were smashing
it
people.
makes sense, and it's a funny thing to hear.
So yeah, so I mean, I'm fine. Like, I mean, I was born like this, so it is what it is. So I'm going really fucking fast. Obviously, the coach is offended by it. I'm offended by his vocabulary. So I tell him, I'm gonna fucking kill you if you don't start counting these reps. Because there's nothing left now. Like, I've already done 37, 18, 11 instead of 21, 15, 9 at this point. And all I can think about is, I think I was like in 3rd or 4th place going into that event, and I was in 1st place in that event by like light years. I was going to mash everybody. It was going to be no question I was going to the games. So then I felt all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember actually saying it, to be honest. You can watch the slow-mo, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you. So like,
I remember hearing
the
this
guy,
story, and I go, I'm thinking, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I didn't.
And at the same time, I mean, when shit's going down, I mean, I don't know how many times I've done stuff. I've seen myself on camera afterwards and go, I'm a real asshole.
Well, it's the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you're in the heat of the moment, like, anything fucking goes. You know what I mean?
Well, and we're literally preparing for that single moment to solidify more or less your life.
Yeah.
Like, I've put everything into this one thing, and now is the moment that I am about to show the world what I can do, and then someone takes it from you.
Yeah, and then I just felt all that, so I freaked out. And then, in my opinion, like I didn't really do anything else after that. It was just like that one time that I said it, and then later on they decided to make it this huge thing, which I didn't even know was even going to happen. When it was all over, he was like, sign this paper. I was like, fuck you, I'm not going to sign that paper. Why would I sign that? I didn't do anything that happened on that paper. So then it became a huge thing, and then Dave Castro decided to be a fucking giant douchebag and make it like known that I'm a douchebag. And then I got 50,000 messages that said that I'm not a douchebag and that Dave Castro's actually a douchebag. So I was like, oh, right on, cool. And then like 2 years later, or maybe a year later, I'm still like really fucking good, you know? So like there's nothing they can really do about it. Like, this guy's an asshole, but fuck, he's good, you know? So like we have to do something to put him down. So they give me a fucking failed drug test for no reason. I'm at the OC Throwdown working out like 3 years later, and the guy, I still have the text message on my phone, actually. I will never delete it because I think it's great. And I literally, the guy's like, hey, I need to test you. I'm at your gym. And I'm like, oh, so I'm at the OC Throwdown. It's like 1 mile down the road. You're welcome to come here anytime. And I'll pay your fucking entry to come in. Whatever, right? So he's like, oh, I'll go tomorrow because I'm already here. And I'm like, okay, I'll be here tomorrow all day working out. So he emails me, he texts me again and says, hey, I'm at your gym. And I'm like, I'm not at the gym. Like, just come to the competition and test me. And then he's like, I'm no longer available to meet you today. And that's exactly what it said. And I put it on my Instagram, and I put it everywhere, blasted it everywhere. And then it came out. They put me on the list of people who failed. They didn't say that I failed, but they just said, like, he refused to take his test. And I was like, that is not what happened at all.
Interesting.
So why do I keep getting up from it? I just brush it off. I mean, this is my life. I already committed to it. Everybody already knows. Like, if you don't know who I am, then I don't really fucking care. Like, I own a gym in Newport Beach. Like, that's what matters to me right now. Like, do my members in the gym care about what happened? Maybe 4 of them. You know?
They're still paying, though.
I mean, 98% of my gym doesn't even know who the fuck Matt Frazier is.
Yeah.
So what do I care if CrossFit wants to say that I did this or I did that? I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
So there's the reasoning behind that. I mean, I also think it's always good to show people that that stuff doesn't bother you, and I think that's like way more admirable.
Yeah.
I actually wish that I would have made it to the games this year, and I really thought I was going to because it was just like all like stuff that was right up my alley. And they fucked me so hard this year. Did you see the muscle up event?
No.
It was so embarrassing.
No.
I really wanted to wear a shirt says, you know, like the Justin Bieber song, "My Mama Don't Like You and She Likes Everyone." I was gonna wear a shirt.
We're like, no, I don't listen to Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber has a song like, "My Mama Don't Like You and She Likes Everyone." I was gonna wear that shirt and have Dave Castro on it on the podium. It's either that or I was gonna take my pants off and show my ass. So I wanted them to know that, you know, I just didn't really care anymore.
So you went a little bit down a different path though, like opening a gym in the middle of Newport Beach with
1,000 other
12 CrossFit gyms within a 9-iron from you. One, why would you go and do this? And two, kind of all this stuff leads up to something. What, like in this crescendo moment is Chalk Performance, and why would you open in the middle of such a saturated market? And what's the vision of, like, why did you spend all of that money to open a gym in the middle of CrossFit's basically the hub of CrossFit?
Let's take a break first, and we'll hop into that question.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the show. If you'd like to learn more about how to improve your snatch, clean, and jerk, we have a free 55-page ebook you can get at flightweightlifting.com. It has sample programming specifically for weightlifting, weightlifting how-to technique videos, and other tips on how to improve all of your lifts. Go to flightweightlifting.com and you can download that ebook for free.
Download it now.
Gay clubs?
All right, and we're back with Ryan Fischer, the stripper. Oh, yeah, Anders, you had a question we were left off on. Oh, yeah, why did you open a gym right in the middle of Newport Beach in a saturated market?
Okay, so at this point...
You're just fucking crazy. Hey.
It really was. I don't really know what I was thinking, but I knew that if I was going to open something, it was going to be different, and it had to be different. And I remember when I was in LA, I had been to a few gyms that were they were so much nicer than the gym that I was working at that it kind of like, I remember like wanting to work out and like I wanted to go there and work out. I was like, even though I loved my gym, I loved my community, I loved everything about it, I was like, man, they have all these comp plates, they have like nice bathrooms, like it was like super nice. And I remember just being like in Orange County, like every car that's rolling up is like a Bentley, like all these different things. I'm like, these people need something nice. Like I guarantee if I do it right, I should be cool. So I asked this guy, the MySpace guy, and I was like, hey man, like if you want to open a gym, because he was telling me you should open your own gym and this and that, and I'd always be like, no, it's like, look at this map, like look on CrossFit, look how many gyms are here, like what's the point? And he's like, I think you could do it well, like I just, like whatever. And then after a while I started thinking about it and I was like, what could I do to make it really, really cool? And I started thinking about it and I was like, this is what it has to look like. It just has to look like this. So I was like, hey man, would you be like opposed to giving me like $1 million? And he's like, I think that's a little drastic, but he's like, whatever you need, you can have. Like, let's just do that. He's like, but you have to pay me back. Remember that. So he's like, if you want to spend some insane amount, I still need it back. So I was like, all right, there's got to be a way to do this, like in an intelligent way here. So
that's a really cool opportunity. I think that's probably a really great way for someone who wants to own a gym to approach it. Is, okay, say I had an unlimited amount of money, but I had to pay it back. How would I design the gym then? And then that gives you an ideal situation.
Yeah. I mean,
you can
originally,
work your way back from there.
Yeah, like originally I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna go completely apeshit, and then when he told me I had to pay it back, like, because that's
so weird.
That.
So yeah,
wait a minute.
Because it was my understanding.
This doesn't sound fair.
But you have like hundreds of millions of dollars, and I just want one of them.
It was my understanding that like he was gonna have a percentage, and we were just gonna split it. So I didn't really think of it that way. Then like, and then. And I wasn't like a business person at the time, right? Like I'm just like
most investors want their money back.
Yeah. I found that out.
Maybe more.
Yeah,
than I gave you.
Yeah.
I found out a lot about business like throughout this whole thing.
I mean, I didn't know that either. When we first got into business,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they'll get a percentage, they'll earn it back over time, and then I found out later, it's like, oh, it's common that they get paid back.
They get it back,
first.
and then they get a percentage.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. So once he said it, I was like, okay, so that changes things a little bit. So there was this space. It's just a super nice space, and Anders has been there. It was originally like a Globo gym, like a regular, had machines and everything in it, but it's like a very private type of thing. And it had about $250,000 worth of equipment inside of the gym already, and it was really, really nice, but they weren't doing very well. So my investing buddy was like, I know this guy, we should check it out. I guarantee I can get it if you really, really want it. So I went and I looked at it, and I was like, man, like I think this is the spot. Let's do it. And then from there, it became just like, what is it going to look like? What are the colors going to be? What's the name going to be? All these things. And I'm so OCD that like it just took over my life. You know what I mean? Like I remember specifically going into the gym like multiple days in a row for multiple hours and just sitting like Indian style in the middle of the gym and just like literally just trying to envision like what it would look like. Like it was the only thing that mattered to me. And like if you walk in my gym and you do look at it, it does have a different flow than you're used to. Like it's very, very organized, and the way that the rigs and everything is like I maximized space in a way that like no one else really has, to be honest. So it is very, very different. It is like it's definitely my own twist on what the CrossFit gym looks like. And from there, like I that was like my goal, was that everybody who walked in, when they asked how much money it was, they never really thought about it. Like I can't remember how many times I would be embarrassed to tell someone how much the membership was. Like when I was working at all these other gyms, they'd be like, well, how much is the membership? And I'd say, well, it's about $200 a month. And they'd be like, for what? And like, that's a common thing when it comes to CrossFit. Like that person has to do CrossFit for like 2 or 3 months before they tell their friend, oh, like it's really expensive, but like you'll understand after like so many times. Like, no, fuck that. Like I want them to come in and be like, oh, this place is cool. It looks expensive. Like, I'm probably going to get what I'm paying for.
Right.
And in reality, most of the members out there, like, this is what blows me away, is like all these CrossFit athletes are like, I'm going to open a gym and it's going to be really cool and it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And it's like, no, dude, like 90% of the people who walk in don't know who you are. Like no one cares. Like no one's paying $200 to X person. Like they're paying $200 to be part of X facility, not the person. So you need to, it needs to be like a restaurant. Like, it's got to be your favorite fucking restaurant. Every single time you go in, it has to look good, has to be vibing, and like everything has to be on point all the time. So like I try to make my gym like the best restaurant you've ever been in.
Dope.
That's
I actually
really-
want to come up and train. I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
been in
cool.
there yet.
Yeah. I have the most ridiculous sound system. I can fucking vibrate you off your feet if you wanted to.
Yes. I'm in.
And do you have like a video walkthrough of your gym where you just lay it out that you've made that we could just like put in the show notes?
Yeah, I have
so
something
people
like
could see
that. Yeah, I do.
Okay, very cool.
I think the thing that because you came from, like, when we started our gym, I can literally, I think I had $50,000.
I remember talking to you about what you did. Yeah,
and
I think you had 60 is what you said.
Yeah, 60, and I think we,
which is funny because that's how much I saved. How fucking crazy is that?
And I think that there wasn't like an extra penny laying around to have nice things and like clean the gym to the level that you guys have. And when you went to Mean Streets, it was the same story. Like Teasdale started that place with nothing, and it was just like, oh wow, a new member. Like I can go buy one plate with this extra $200.
Yeah.
And so many of us in the beginning
how
days
we started too.
Yeah.
In the beginning days, though, it was like
That was so
it was really
far.
attractive because it was CrossFit. It wasn't like the location.
Right.
And you saw so many of the holes that we were working from behind to fill. And I think that really the biggest thing is that it's every personal training client that you had in your life has turned into something that helped you in business, has helped push you further along in your career. It's because you show up every day. And when you walk into Chalk, you can feel that with the vibe, the energy. I mean, literally, it is the cleanest fucking place you'll ever walk into. And it does not feel like a gym.
It doesn't feel like a CrossFit gym.
How long you been open now?
It's almost 4 years now. And I remember my first day open, like I used Instagram to my advantage, and I was like, hey, we're going to have all these comp plates. Hey, we're going to have, I just bought this. And I was blasting it out. And like by the time I had opened my doors, I had 100 members on my first day. Like the gym wasn't big enough for my 6 a.m. class.
Nice.
On the first day.
If you don't mind me asking, you can turn this question down.
Go for it.
How much did you invest? Or how much was the investment?
$260,000.
$260,000. So I mean,
which I got very, very lucky. I call my gym $1 million gym because the space was recently renovated for $750,000 to make it look the way it is right now, and then we had to give the previous tenant $50,000 to leave. They wanted like some tenant improvements back. They wanted $200,000, but they couldn't get anyone to rent the space in time who wanted to spend that much money on rent. My rent's $10,000 a month, and it's 5,500 square feet. And the actual the workout space is only 3,500 square feet.
I'm glad you're saying all these numbers because it's probably this is dropping some reality bombs.
Yeah, if you guys are out in like
a lot of gym owners like they're like, oh, I only have this. I hear a lot of complaints.
Yeah.
Or people say, how much money should I drop in a gym? And I'm like, it's not like it used to be. So I started mine with $17,000. You can't do that anymore.
No way.
You can't. $60,000, you're not going to stand out. $260,000, that's going to help you stand out.
Even like
you got to take it more seriously now.
Even garage gym people who wanted to garage gym and eventually spread out. People email me all the time and ask me about that. Like, hey man, I'm going to start with this. Actually, I had someone ask me to be like a Chalk affiliate. Like they really wanted to use my name and everything. And I was like, well, how much money do you have to spend? And he's like, well, I have like $50,000. And I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like if your gym doesn't remotely look like mine, I just can't be part of it. And I don't want to sound like a douche, but like it's got to all flow the same.
That's your brand. You got to protect it. Yeah.
And I actually want to be around you for a few months and see who you are because I don't even there's so many things that go into it. But anyway, that was something I was like really, really looking for in my gym. I wanted it to look like. And my rent was really, really expensive. And it's a small space. And we have like 330 members right now, which is insane. And sometimes we have classes that are literally busting out the seams, and I have someone outside, working out.
What do you charge members?
$200 a month.
Wow.
That's a great price.
Wow.
For where you're at.
I'm shocked at how cheap that is.
Yeah.
For what you're paying for rent.
But everybody in town is like,
wow.
Everyone in town's like about that price. So my goal was to be the same as everybody else and just a way nicer product.
Wow.
So it worked out well. And then I never really knew like what was going to happen after that. Like it was the same thing. Like now I have this and I need more money, like obviously to, do whatever it is. Like if I want to buy a house in California, especially in Newport. Like, you're looking at a fixer-upper is $1 million.
Totally.
So like if you don't have at least like $1 million spent on a house, it's like, all right, well, that's not going to do it on this salary right now. So like, I'm going to do the same thing I've done for my entire life, and I'm just going to stay calm, and I'm going to work my ass off, and I know that being passionate and showing everybody how passionate I am will turn into something else. So another personal training client that I had, he's working on helping me get into Costco as a corporate wellness, like the head of the corporate wellness group, and it's going to be something that will change my life.
Yeah, the guys I know that are making good money in this space is doing corporate stuff. I know Jason Kalipa does a lot of corporate stuff.
And I've talked to him about it.
I think he makes the majority of his money there.
Yeah.
I think that you should not pass over the the early days of opening chalk. And you say like, oh, I worked my ass off. What does that mean?
Oh yeah. So
like I think a lot of people get into the gym business and think like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with my friends and I'm gonna teach some fitness, and they don't realize what a grind and the day to day looks like.
I'm happy you brought that up because I feel like I did miss something, and I think that's like probably like one of my proudest moments of my whole life is the amount of work that I was able to do. Like I understand like when someone says they like became a Navy SEAL and like they did something that they like never thought they could do, right? Like I worked so fucking hard that I almost like don't even remember it. I could have been in fucking Navy SEAL during that time because I don't even fucking remember it. You know what I mean? Like I remember not having any coaches because I didn't think any coaches were good enough to coach in my gym. It's my gym and you're not coaching in the way I want you to. I want you to fucking own this gym mentally. And I need you to be inside everybody. So, it's got to look like this. And you watch me coach, and let's see what you do. And then you coach, and it would just be like they get one chance. You know, it's like I wouldn't give them more than one chance. They would be like, "All right, guys, we're gonna get going." I'm like, "That was fucking. You didn't fucking yell loud enough. Get the fuck out." You know, like I was a freak about it. So like I coached 5 a.m. to 7:45 p.m. was my last class. I had 10 classes a day.
Whoa!
Right out the gate, I needed it. I had 100 people already the first day. So I coached every single class, every single day, and 3 clients a day, every day for 2 months. And then on top of that, I would get home at probably 10 p.m. But I would clean some stuff up, make sure the gym looked good.
You weren't paying anyone to clean it, or you were cleaning it?
I had people cleaning it. I just wasn't like organization and like they didn't really know where everything went yet.
Yep. I
didn't even know where everything went yet. Like I would move stuff nightly.
Right.
I didn't even really think about like having a class come in and be like, hey guys, help me move all the dumbbells over here. Like I would just do it at night. I'd just move fucking 10,000 pounds of dumbbells like on my own and just be like, you know what, that spot sucks. I'm gonna move it back.
Yeah.
And then that would last like, you know, for the first 2 months, and I finally got a coach who helped out. And then I would shadow her for like a month. And then during that time, I was actually training for regionals.
Yeah.
And like the little 10-minute breaks I get in between classes, I would just do a 10-minute AMRAP. I'd just 225 cold in the bar. I'm doing 3 power cleans and 3 muscle ups every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, and I'm going to coach class. And I would do shit like that. Like, that's like what I would do. I got 4th at regionals and like fucking alternate to the games. But
during this time?
During this time.
Wow.
So I'd go to bed like maybe like 11 and wake up at 4, get ready for the day again, and that just went on forever for that 2 months type of, it felt like forever. And then even after that, it probably was about like 4 or 5 months until I had people coaching enough to where I didn't feel like I was dying. And then I was online putting the workouts in, and then I was doing this and I was doing that. But like unknowingly, there was a couple of things that I did that I think that put me in the predicament where I'm in now, where it's like, it's cool enough to be on the Barbell Shrugged podcast. So like, I like originally was like, I don't really love CrossFit as part of the name. I want something that does not have that associated with it in case anything ever happens, and I want to have like a legacy. I want like
if anything's gonna happen to anybody, it's you.
Yeah, I mean, most likely, right? And actually, something did happen. So I forgot about this. Dave Castro strikes again. Dave Castro is like a fucking Star Wars series. So basically, I start emailing back and forth with Kathy Glassman, Greg Glassman's wife. If they're still married, I don't really know what's happening there. So
Sister.
We
by
go
the
back.
way.
Yeah, is it a sister?
Yeah, it's a sister.
Oh, Jesus.
You're
I'm all fucked up.
You're good.
So,
Also, his sister.
they're going back and forth. Weird things happen in the middle of America. So I'm going back and forth with Kathy about CrossFit names, right? So I'll never forget, like, my first 5 names that I asked for. I asked for CrossFit Chalk. I asked for Diesel CrossFit, Sweat. I wanted to call it CrossFit Sweat. Well, actually, I can't say I'll never forget because I forgot those 2. So
I'll never forget. Shit, just now.
Damn.
Yeah.
I had those 3. Those were my main ones. I shouldn't say 5. Those 3. Those were my main ones, and I went through 87 emails back and forth with Kathy about names. I remember it was 87 because I remember seeing the number, and I remember her saying, "This is your 87th email, and I cannot do this anymore." So every time you ask for a name through CrossFit, they have to look like legally and see how it works out. I asked for the name Brute CrossFit, even though there's a Brute Strength and all this stuff, but I wanted it to be BRUT, like the bitter taste Brute, but I just thought it was cooler, and it had 2 dots above the U. I just thought it would look rad. So they're like, we can't do that because what if you're in the CrossFit Games and it's like Brute without the E's in first place and then Brute with the E, and then there's Brute whatever, and like, I'm like, oh, okay, I get that. Right on. So we keep going and going and going and going and going, and she's like, none of these names are working for you. You live in Orange County, so I asked for like Orange Box, all these different things, and she's like, the founder is, John something. So why don't you be like John something CrossFit, or what about Sweet Fruit CrossFit? And I was like, hold on a second.
Sweet fruit CrossFit.
I emailed her back and I said, listen.
That would actually go. Well, I'm going to leave that one.
Citrus. CrossFit Citrus.
I go, listen to this. I have all this money going into this. This is my entire life. This is going to map the rest of my life. I'm going to ask people for $200 a month, and you want them to look up at a sign that says Sweet Fruit. Are you out of your fucking mind? So I wrote her back, and I said, I am going to call my gym something else, and it's not going to be affiliated with you guys, and you guys can go fuck yourselves. And I literally wrote it like that. Like, it was so aggressive that she probably had to go to church after she saw it. So
I don't know why you have so many problems with these people.
So she writes me back, and in that time, I remember writing on Facebook, I was like, I'm just going to call my gym Untitled. It's going to be CrossFit Untitled, and if you look up the definition of Untitled, it means that I'm a higher power and I'm above any name. I get a fucking phone call from Dave Castro, and he says, oh, you're going to be Untitled, huh? And like, cause someone had screenshotted that and sent it to him and said, this guy's being an asshole. And he's like, you're never going to be a CrossFit gym ever because of this and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Are you guys kidding me? Like, there's some guy trolled that enough to send it to Dave Castro. And who cares if I want to call it Untitled? It's not a name that's taken. I think I should have it. So somehow, some way, he writes me an email and says, you can still, someone must have said, hey man, this guy's still going to give us $3,000. You should just let him fucking do it. So basically what happened.
You had already cost him $10,000, so they're like, just leave him alone.
So I get the thing back from Kathy, and she's like, you know what? The first one might work, the Chalk CrossFit. We have it under contract. No one's used it in like 5 months or something. So I'm guessing they're never going to use it. So we'll just give you that, and you got to pay it in the next minute. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's do it. I got Chalk CrossFit, right? So then I was like, all right, I'm going to call this thing Chalk. It stands by itself. It sounds cool. And I'm stoked on it. And that was something that I did unknowingly. I didn't really realize how much, like 4 years later, how much like smaller the CrossFit like demographic is getting. Like,
yeah, what year is that?
I opened in.
It was 4 years ago.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, yeah. There was a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like, I remember opening a gym in 2007, and I would drop the name CrossFit at the bar, and everyone would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then it was around 2011, I could drop it, and people go, wow. And then by 2015, it didn't matter.
Yeah. So, like, now it's almost...
If you look at Google Trends, the word CrossFit peaked in 2015. It's come down since.
Gotcha.
Is it down quite a bit?
I don't know percentage-wise what it's down, but just from what I remember of the graph, it looked like it was probably like 70% of what it was.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's down like quite a bit, and in the older demographic, like I live in Newport Beach, like median age is like 35 maybe. So that's like the older group who's kind of like, hey man, I don't know if I can snatch. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do that. So I was like, CrossFit can't be on my sign. It just can't be. Plus, like, everybody in the world, like, I started dating this girl who was sponsored by a giant supplement company. And I remember, like, hearing these numbers of how much money these people were making. And I remember just being like, I got to do some research about some stuff. So, like, I found out that, like, and I anybody would know this who, you know, had graduated college, but like it was just something I just didn't think about. I was just like, man, CrossFit's like this big.
Yeah.
And fitness is like this big. So like, why would I market to this group, like, unless I like absolutely 100% have to? Well, this group already hates me.
So like, there's that. That's a good point. I mean, and marketing, like, it's always good to go as niche as possible in the beginning. Like find the smallest crowd possible and really nail them down really tight.
But I was too late for that.
But
I was at the tail end of it.
Yeah, it sounds like it was probably better that you didn't do that.
So unknowingly,
you're no longer niche. Now it's a bloody market because there's just so many people in it. So
and unknowingly, it made me really, really cool. And it was just and people are proud to go to Chalk and they say it, and like it's cooler than CrossFit, and a lot of them are CrossFitters, but they feel better about going to the gym like that. And because the sign says Chalk on it, I get more people who walk in and they're like, oh, what is this place, you know? So that's really cool. And then another thing that I did, like, unknowingly, I knew what I was doing, but I knew in the beginning it was hurting me, was I never post my workouts online. I just thought that was weird. Like, I just always was like, why would I put my workouts online for free when I'm asking people to pay $200 a month to be part of those workouts? I don't care about my coaching staff or myself. It's just like, that took me a really long time to make that workout, and I'm not going to give it away for free. So people would always ask, like, oh, what's the workout today? I'm like, the workouts, come in and figure it the fuck out. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I would never tell anybody my workouts. You have to come in, you have to see it. And after a while, like, I know that I had a little bit of a social media following, so Chalk, you know, naturally started getting a little bit of a following, and people wanted to know the workouts. So one day I was like, you know what? It's $20 a month, and you guys can see the workouts. And not only that, I have another program called Sweat, which is like a conditioning program. It doesn't really have barbells involved in it, and anyone can walk in off the street and just do it. And I have that on there too. And you guys can, you can follow either one of those. And it's $20 a month. And I remember that just like being something that I never really realized it would be. I was like, I wonder, I'll probably get a couple people who sign up for it, and then it just wound up being, you know, hundreds of people signed up for it. And I was just like, man, this is fucking really cool. I don't have to open another gym. I don't have to deal with like the whole headache of, you know, this trainer's going to go out of town, and I have to cover that, and I have to figure out all of these things, or I have to spend fucking $1,000 on chalk and toilet paper. Or
I really like that approach, because what you've done is you've really honed your skill as a coach, and instead of spreading yourself thin or trying to figure out how to franchise your system and all this, you just go online.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people are doing that now. I mean, we've done that, which is, I think it's a smarter move. I mean, if you really do have a special product and a special brand that attracts people, that's definitely the way to go.
Well, I talked to so many gym owners, and they're like, man, the programming's not that hard. It takes me like 20 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck are you making? Like, it takes me hours to make a week of programming. Like, there's no chance I'm putting that up for free online. It's just no way. And like, and I think about it in so many different ways. Like, I don't think about making the best CrossFitter. I like literally specialize my workouts in looking at it. Like, every single one of my members will tell you the same thing. You're like, dude, I do not know which day to take off, Monday through Sunday, because everything looks so fun. And I really try to make like the fun aspect the major thing that you see when you look at the workout.
Yep.
You know, like, classic CrossFit workouts are great. We do them every once in a while, but like, I really, really try really hard to get that fun factor. And for it to be fun, it's going to take you a lot of time to figure it out.
Yep.
And no one's ever made a workout in my gym in 4 years. I make every single one.
Very cool.
What's the relationship with some of the coaches and how you've built that staff? Because it takes you 4 months to even let somebody get in, and I know that you've been lucky enough. I mean,
I've only had like 5 coaches in 4 years. Period.
And I know there's always tough decisions on personnel and who's going to be the face of a class. It's absolutely terrifying as a gym owner when you see somebody kind of like mailing it in, and you're like, God, nobody from this class is going to go tell their friends how cool that was. Like, what is that process, and a little bit of the training, some of the hard decisions you've had to make? I know there's, you know, it's never easy when personalities are involved, and if you're running that tight of a ship, it puts a strain on a lot of people that can't handle that pressure.
So I tell them all that speech in the beginning about, this is a stepping stone in your life. Some things I've done wrong probably.
A lot.
I had a female coach who kept coming to class like right on time. She was going to coach like a 9:15 or a noon class, and she'd get there at 9:15. And then it got to the point where I was like, if you don't get here 10 minutes early, like you have to be here 15 minutes early to open the gym. You have to be here 10 minutes early to coach a class when the gym's already open. That's it. That's all you have to do. So she got to the point where she'd get there on time, and I'd be coaching the class, and as she'd walk in, like I would purposely see her like pulling up, and like it'd be like 9:14, and I'd be like, I'm just gonna start coaching class. Hey guys, bring it in. And then she would walk in, and I'd be like, you can go get me a coffee or something, because you're not doing anything today. That's for sure. And I would tell her like that, or sometimes she would get there on time, and then when the class was over, I'd be like, hey, just so you know, you're not getting paid for that. And then like I would do stuff like that, and I know that was super gnarly, but like I just really needed them to understand like you have this job, and like I tried as hard as I could to pay everybody as much as I possibly could. And now that I have Chalk Online, and now that I have these other things going on, I still do that. And for Christmas, I gave every one of my coaches this year $1,000. It was something I was like I almost like cried writing the checks because I was just like so happy. I was like, I wish this ever happened to me when I was a trainer. Like, get $1,000 as a CrossFit trainer as a Christmas bonus. So cool. And then like in the middle of the year this year, just the middle of the year for no random reason at all, I bought this one guy. He wanted one of these portable Bose speakers, like $300. And I asked his girlfriend, I was like, do you know anything that he like really, really wants? Like, and she's like, he's been wanting this thing forever. And then I got him that, and he actually cried in front of me. Like, actually, he's a 40-year-old man. And it was just was like, oh my God, this is the best gift I've ever had in my whole life. And I was like, dude, I just want you to know that like whenever we have extra money and you deserve it, like I'm gonna make sure that something cool happens for you. And I got someone else a pair of Beats headphones. I bought somebody else like a skateboard, like different things, like whatever tickled their fancy at the time.
And that's really motivating for people, like when people are working for you, instead of hanging an incentive in front of them and saying, well, when you meet this mark, like surprising them after the fact is something I think it really brings out that, not motivation, but I think it's more of an inspiration type of thing where it's like, oh, wow, I feel appreciated, versus saying, well, you'll get this bonus if you hit this performance marker.
Yeah, I don't really like stuff like that, and I don't really like saying that you're going to get paid more than this person if this many people show up. It's like, no, like that many people are probably here because it's 6 a.m. and they have to go to work. It's not because you're a better coach than everybody else. Like, I don't like that. I just like, my goal is always to be like, I always want to give them as much as I possibly can. I think the biggest struggle for a gym owner is keeping coaches.
Yeah.
So like if you can't keep your coaches, you can't keep your membership. So you literally have to you have to give them, like they have to be family. Like they have to mean everything to you. And all of my coaches do, and they all know that. I'll do anything for them at any point in time. I've actually, in 4 years, I've not gone home for Christmas because I let all of them go home for Christmas.
Wow.
So there's that.
How much do you coach your coaches? And what's that look like at your gym?
I'll just step in and randomly coach a class, be like, hey, check this out, or whatever. Or like there'll be, like a big thing I'm really big on is like you have to walk around constantly. Like I don't care if you talk to everybody and like you give everybody great feedback and this and that. Like if you're not constantly walking around, like they don't feel you over their shoulder, it's not like, it's just not good enough. Like you have to be constantly moving around the room. So many people say that like as soon as you walk by, they just instantly go faster. Like if you walk by me going on the assault bike and I'm going at 200 watts and you walk by, I'm going to go 400 at least.
Minimum.
I'm going to double.
Or like maybe that doesn't resonate with anybody. Like let's say you're rowing like 2-minute pace and you walk by, I want to go 145.
Yeah.
That and it works that way. And like you just need to walk around. Even if you don't say anything, you could be a mute and you just walk around, you'd be a great coach.
Yeah.
I think that extra 10% is if everybody just found a way to try and be just a little bit better and find that extra 10% somewhere in their game. And a lot of that just comes down to the learning process and just the never-ending pursuit of like, how can we make this just a little bit better? And whether it's spending $500,000 on opening a gym or, coaching somebody through an assault bike. Those lessons don't go away, and if everyone in your gym is bought into that same purpose, it's impossible to fail.
Yeah. I've seen classes and I just pull coaches in immediately, and I'm like, that class was just 60% effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't keep watching that.
I think this is a really good thing for everybody to hear, because I think that as gym owners, we have, like, I look back on my own career, and I see where I let people off the hook. Or, I saw somebody on their phone in the corner, and I was like, I waited a day or two to mention it, like, as a rule to everybody. And when I could have just walked straight to that person and thrown their phone out the door, or, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But, really, really, doing what you're talking about doing, I think we've let a lot of coaches slide. And a lot of coaches think it's okay, like, oh, I'm getting paid $20 a class, show up right on the minute, coach the class, and then walk out the door, don't participate in what else is happening in the gym. And I think that the industry as a whole is seeing that, because, a coach might come from another gym where that was okay, and now they come to your gym and that's not okay. And I think that there's a huge opportunity for guys like you to lead the way and say, hey, this is what coaching looks like. Because I also think that's why we're only charging $200 a month. Like, it sounds like the value that people are getting at your box is probably closer to $300 or $400 a month, and you're competing with the guys around town. But these coaches, it's like the CrossFit is tarnished in a way, because it hasn't been treated as professionally as it could have from the very beginning. Yeah. So now we have to, in this industry, you have to overcome all the laziness of what happens when people are coaching. Because you walk in the gym and there are coaches on their phones texting while they should be focusing on the clients and all that kind of stuff. I mean, so if you're one of those coaches and you're hearing this right now, step it up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to gyms where I literally am just like, I wish the owner was here because I need to tell them to fire this person.
And then you find out it is the owner's coaching the class.
That totally could happen for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just like it is really bad, and what really bothers me, and if like anybody out there who does follow me like on Instagram, like you'll see that I get really, really into, and I'm super passionate about like how hard coaches should coach and like how much you should be putting into your gym, and it's like really, really embarrassing to me when there's just like a mediocre effort like in the gym, and like the gym owner like doesn't spend his time there. Like,
yeah, well,
if you don't spend your time there, there's no vibe. Like, the vibe that you want will never happen if you keep wishing it was going to happen and you're not there doing it.
Well, I think a lot of gym owners too, they're there. They didn't do things right in the first place.
Yeah.
They had too little money. They got burnt out. They're 18 months in. They're still coaching all the classes. They're phoning it in because they're just burnt out. And I think a lot of times either it just wasn't the right time for them to open the gym in the first place, or they're just in the wrong thing. If they're not showing up passionate every day and they're not, then it might be time to move on.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a lot of that going on too.
A ton right now.
Getting into this industry and opening a gym was really cheap. Like I was saying, I opened one with $17,000. So you got what, $60,000?
60.
And that's actually really fucking cheap to open up a brick and mortar business compared to, say, the restaurant business or
the gym business. You're not fighting even the gym that's right next to you, because there's a 24-hour fitness, there's 10 CrossFit gyms, there's the functional fitness facility that looks exactly like your CrossFit gym that doesn't pay the thing. But you're also fighting every single person that just wants to be on their own in their garage. You have to be a better option than someone spending $1,000 and putting it in their garage and just getting to work without ever leaving their house. And that is a massive step from $0 to $200 a month. And what are they getting for that? There has to be something that's so far over the top to pull them out of their house, out of their life, and now you have inserted an hour into their day in which hopefully it's the best hour of their day, but you get them addicted to that feeling every single day when they walk in, and that is the most important thing, because that hour becomes so healthy and so just freeing for them that they need it and they crave it. And if they're not getting that, there's 1,000 other places that they can go within a half mile of you.
And then like in the warm-ups, I make all my coaches like ask like, hey, did anyone see this movie this week? How was everybody's week in general? Like, hey, like, Susie, how's your hip? Or like whatever, right? Like, that was so generic. But like,
Fucking
I
Susie.
felt like Susie breaks her hip in like every story. But like when you ask people those questions and they're like, man, someone actually thought about me. Like, but they worked 8 hours that day and they get home and they go to bed and they don't really have anybody to share any time with. And it's like, that one moment probably meant so much to that person that day. And it's just like, people don't understand how big that stuff is. And like, we're a community-driven business. So like, if you don't know everybody's name, if you don't know what people do for work, like if you don't go out and surf with them after class or like any of that, then like, what are you really doing?
Yeah.
I give incentives to the coaches all the time. Like, hey, if you guys want to take members to the grocery store, I'll pay you for a class and show them how to fucking shop for groceries.
Yeah.
If you want to do a seminar on how to do kipping pull-ups and butterfly pull-ups and muscle-ups, go for it. Keep all the money. You want to do personal training? Do it. Keep all the money. I try to like let them do as much as they want and if they have questions about anything, just like let me know and I'll help you out. I eventually want to get my online programming to have like tons of different programs and they're all programming each one. Maybe one's like body weight, one's just kettlebells. I'm trying to get all my employees to be doing corporate stuff with me so that it's like a career for them. Like I want to like literally like when I retire with my gym, like they retire with me. Like I want them to be there for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And if I don't want them there for the whole thing, they're fired. Like, like I don't like I'm getting married to everybody in my gym. So like right now it's like,
well, you're gonna get inside them anyway.
Yeah.
It's never going anywhere. It's here. We're stuck with that.
We need to get Trojan to sponsor the show.
Keep it safe, folks.
But yeah, I want everyone to come with me. Like as far as Jesus, come with me. I want everyone to go on the whole shebang with me. So like it'd just be great to have the same coaches forever. I think that'd be such a great goal. And I mean, you have members for such a long time. It'd be so cool to just be like, man, this guy's been coaching me for like 10 years. Like that's so cool.
Yeah.
Eventually, you gotta get a fresh face in there, but it's nice to have the same crew.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for joining us today. This is an incredible story.
Yeah, I really it came out well.
Where can people find more of you?
I'm Ryan Fish, RyanFisch on Instagram. You guys can follow the gym. We have some pretty funny Instagram videos on CrossFit Chalk. It's just the way it sounds. And then if you guys ever want to follow my online programming, which is super fun, just like I described, it's CrossFitChalk.com, and then you just click on the online programming. It's $20, and you get to literally not think about workouts ever again.
Yeah, and you just started a podcast.
And I have my own podcast called Real Chalk. So the name is solid.
He really likes the name.
I want to say that the podcasts are good. As you guys can hear, like I'm pretty raw material coming out of my mouth, so it's like that for everything. I do like a lot of like really hot topics. My last one was on coffee and caffeine, and then I do a lot of stuff on like oils. Like I'm super big on eating healthy, so there's a lot of stuff like that. Life story stuff is on there too. And one of my coaches, Yannick, he's from Germany. He's on there, and he is like my co-host.
Very cool.
It's super fun.
Sounds fun. I'm gonna have to give it a listen.
It's really good.
Yeah. Anders, you want to tell the people what you're up to?
Come and hang out with us. Movement-rx.com. Dr. Teresa Larson, physical therapist, and myself write strength and rehabilitation programs for gym owners, their members, and functional fitness athletes dealing with shoulders, hips, low back, knees. Come and hang out. Learn how to move better. And on the socials, Anders Varner.
Dope. And Doug and I are doing some expansion here. Doug's got where should people go if they want to find out what you're up to?
I got a catch-all website now called DougLarsonFitness.com. Anything that I'm thinking that's kind of outside the realm of Barbell Shrugged, but still fitness-related that I've wanted to do for a long time, I'm putting that on that kind of catch-all site. I got some seminars coming up, so if you're interested in doing something in person with me, go to DougLarsonFitness.com.
And come check me out at thebledsowshow.com. I got another podcast over there, doing some events coming up. So head over there, see what I'm up to. We'll hang out. It'll be fun. And if you like the show, which I don't know how you just didn't laugh your ass off and share this show with every single one of your friends on every social media platform you have, including Tumblr.
If you got an offender bender while listening, tag us.
Yeah, just go over to iTunes, 5-star review, positive comments. Go subscribe on YouTube. Great videos as well. And see you next week.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the show. If you liked the show, which I know you did, please go share it on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever social media channel you happen to be loving at the moment. Pinterest, Twitter,
Tumblr.
Tumblr. Share it on Tumblr.
Now, see us.